Welcome back to TechniqueWOD. Today I want to talk about rear foot elevated split squats. It's not necessarily a movement that you find at a lot of CrossFit gyms, and definitely not a movement that you would probably ever find in a CrossFit Metcon, but it is a great strength movement. It's a great movement for, especially for people who have shorter torsos and longer legs, people that tend to, when they're squatting and deadlifting, have their legs fail before they round their back. People that have longer torsos, a lot of times, if you watch powerlifting for example, longer torsoed people tend to fail by folding their thoracic spine, while people that have shorter torsos and longer limbs tend to fail here and they just can't stand up. Their back's not rounding over, they're not losing their position, they just can't stand up. The legs just can't put out anymore. That shorter torso makes it easier to keep your back straight, and so the stress is put on the legs a little bit more. In this case, for a rear foot elevated split squat, it makes it easier to train your legs and put the focus really on them, because you're in an upright back position and all that stress is being put onto my quad and my backside glute. And if you're a person who's ever done a lot of rear foot elevated split squats, you know that it's a very effective way to get a lot of, especially glute soreness. If you have a lot of trouble making your glutes sore, well, this would be the way to do it. It'll keep you sore for 4 or 5 days in a lot of cases, especially if you're new to it. Last time we talked about regular split squats and lunges. We talked about starting at the bottom with a vertical front shin and a vertical back thigh, squeezing this glute to get a neutral pelvis and on nice and tall, good posture. The same is going to apply for the rear foot elevated split squat, where I'm going to start again at the bottom. I like to grab onto kettlebells, put my foot into position. My entire foot is on the bench. I'm not hanging off like this. A lot of people do that, and then as a result, they don't have much stability back there. So they kind of put all their weight on their front leg and they squat down like this, so they don't have any pressure on their back leg. So you want the edge of the bench to be right where your foot bends. I like to position myself at the bottom with that vertical shin, squeezing my butt, and then I know that I'm in a good position and I don't have to go searching for the bench and then hop my leg around hoping that I'm in a good spot. If you start at the bottom, you'll know that you're in a good position right from the start. My back should be at the same angle as my lower leg. I shouldn't try to be too vertical where I'm hyperextending, and I shouldn't be bending forward like this. I shouldn't be bending like that, or out here. I'm kind of sitting back into the movement. So as I go down, my shin stays relatively vertical until I'm here, and pressing my shin back vertical as I go to the top. So just like the regular split squat, I like to first load myself on that inside hand and then go from there. Same thing with the rear foot elevated split squat. When you're first learning, I like to have people just load their inside hand and press out, and then right back down to the bottom, just like that. If you're someone who is brand new to the movement and you're having a lot of trouble staying stable at the bottom, we have had people in the past put a stick right here, and that just kind of helps them out, just so they can kind of get the feel for it before they try to do it with body weight where they're a little more unstable, and especially before they try to load themselves. So that's a great option if you're having trouble with the bounce right at first. The bench is good, but it's a flat surface, and when I'm at the top with a lot of weight, a lot of times I feel like I'm getting a lot of pressure on my ankle because the top of my foot is coming off of the bench, and it's just my toes, and it's making me point my toe. Sometimes, with a lot of pressure. So a while back I had a kind of a foot-toe problem from kicking something real hard, and I started using this, which lets me bend my foot around it, and it feels a lot more comfortable, and I've just kind of stuck with it. So same position, but I can kind of hang on this little pad here, and it's a lot more comfortable on my foot. Also, once I got into split squats a little bit more, I found that loading myself with kettlebells became a little more of an issue, and I didn't like to have 70 or 90 pound kettlebells in each hand, kind of hopping around all off balance. What I'd done after that was I found a safety bar, and I tried that, which is nice because the safety bar sits on my back and it won't fall off, and then I can grab the uprights and hold myself in position. So the first thing I do is I kind of find out roughly where my foot's going to be. I take note, and then a lot of times I'll keep my foot there. If it's not too heavy, I'll just leave my foot right where it was. I'll grab the uprights, I'll find the pad behind me, and then I'll hold on for my first rep just to kind of get myself into position, and then I can go from there. So I'm here, and then if I really need to, if I really can't get up and I have a spotter, I can just kind of pull myself up. Likewise, if I get off balance, a lot of times I'll have my hands available. If I get wobbly, I can just kind of touch the inside, and it'll keep me from falling over. So it's just a way to add a little bit of stability to the movement. That way you don't have to, if you have 200 pounds on the bar, you don't have to hop around on one leg while you're halfway down in the middle of a squat. So ideally you wouldn't touch the walls at all. You'd be able to do it all on your own, but it's kind of nice to have a little bit of a backup plan as it's kind of a hard movement to spot. If you only have one person, if you have two people, obviously they can spot the sides just like any other squatting movement. So great way, if you've never tried it, to gain some strength in your legs, and especially to get some good stress on your glutes and develop a good amount of soreness. If you're trying to put on muscle mass, it's an especially good way to to really stress your legs and kind of take your back out of the equation, so you can really get as much development out of your thighs and out of your glutes as absolutely possible. So hope you enjoy it. Go ahead and try it out. I'll see you tomorrow.